I've had love handles since I was 4.
What?
Boom, 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 yeah, get your kit off.
Oh great, we're back on the vaginas.
It's bendy.
I actually took it to go away.
I want more penises here.
Don't shag cows.
Clitoris.
Please never do that in my house. Hello and welcome to Swipe, Match, Marry, the modern relationship and dating podcast. I'm James.
I'm Marny.
And I'm Steve.
Join us as we explore love, life and dating in London.
Do we have to adapt to find love?
How do you find and define your sexuality?
Has the internet ruined dating?
We're going to be discussing all of this and more as we attempt to unlock the code to modern dating culture.
Please be aware that this podcast contains adult content, sexual themes and strong language, which is the only reason why I'm here. Now let's get into the show. Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Swipe, Match, Marry.
Hello.
Hello.
I've been really lazy this week and I haven't made anything in the oven.
What?
What?
I know, I'm sorry. I've bought grapes, which is a piss poor compensation.
It's like piss grapes.
But I did, I believe a good guy should bring something, so I went to
You are very
Woodgins
good.
and I
Well
bought
then,
grapes.
I'd like to put it out there that I feel I've saved the day because I've got mint clubs and Kit Kats.
I didn't know they still did those.
Mint clubs?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
pound
like
for 8.
mint
Not
and
grapes, I mean, they've always done grapes.
I don't like mint and chocolate, sorry.
Oh.
But I enjoy
Have a
the
Kit
Kit
Kat.
Kats. Yeah,
There
I
we
enjoy
go.
the Kit Kats. Anyway, we've gone off topic already. We've actually got a really exciting thing happening this week. We've got our first special guest on the show, and we've got Sophie Linda Lee from the Happy Performer blog.
Welcome!
Or A up, as they say
Round
where
of
I come
Hey,
from.
where are you from, Sophie?
I'm from Nottingham, that lovely bit in the middle.
Nottingham.
Yeah, where it's renowned for robbing people.
Yes.
And
Made married.
Brian-
Giving to the poor.
that's it, and Brian Clough.
And what, Ing?
Giving to the poor.
Oh, giving to the poor. I thought you said going to the pub. I was like, is that a
Both.
Nottingham specific
I think
thing?
that's quite high on the list up there too.
So what do you do, Sophie? Tell us about yourself.
So I'm an actress, but I'm also a blogger. So I run a blog called The Happy Performer, which it was created for performers, but by performers. That's how
Lovely.
we catchphrase. And we're just trying to keep people happy and look after actors and performers' lifestyles, really, in the industry.
Very nice. And you were very kind enough to feature us a couple of weeks ago, which was good.
Yeah.
Had to do a scary
Thank you.
interview, phone interview.
You were brilliant.
Wasn't scary at all. It was very lovely. Yeah, so thank you for that.
My pleasure.
And you also did a blog recently, which is relating to dating, which is what we love to talk about.
Yeah, I did a blog called 8 Secret Dating Tips for Straight Girls in Musical Theatre.
Which
Very specific.
that's a niche there.
Really specific.
I mean, it got a lot of hits, I'm not going to lie, because, it's quite difficult for straight girls in musical theatre.
And why is that for people that don't know?
Well, the ratio of gay to straight men in musical theatre is quite slim. I'd say it's a good 80-20, 70-30 ratio.
Gosh, yeah,
So it's slim
it is.
pickings.
Yeah, it's not
is.
reflective of real life, is it? Where, real life is 1 in every 10 person.
Yeah, I think it's
is
about
gay
1 in 10.
Or thereabouts. But
Really?
in
1 in 10, yeah.
Is that all?
I thought it was more than that.
No, I
I
think
thought
it's
it was
1 in 10.
10.
Yeah.
Or roughly thereabouts.
Maybe it is because of the industry that we're in.
Well, that's the
Maybe.
thing, because obviously we all work in musical theatre. James and I are backstage, and Steve and
Thankfully.
Sophie are front of stage, on the stage.
yeah.
Doing the thing.
And it is really hard because you do work with a lot of gay women but mostly gay men. There's a really high ratio of gay men.
So for
at
me,
work.
it's perfect.
Oh, it's like
I mean,
a
it's
bloody
heaven.
paradise for
It's
you.
like pick a mix.
Yeah.
Well, it's not now because,
No,
Not now.
take
ring
yourself.
and,
Round.
ring and stuff.
So what? Tell us about the ins and outs of the blog post then.
Okay, so basically, I was trying to help women in a comedic fashion to get... Basically, right, you have to treat dating as a business when you're in musical theatre because there's no time to date and there's no one to date. So all you got to do is you got to get online. That's the first thing, which I'm shit at.
It's hard.
It's really hard
And
work.
by getting online, do you mean dating like Match.com or what do you mean?
Well, I don't pay for dating, but that's a whole other thing.
Well, we've just talked about that actually in a previous episode.
Oh, yeah, I used to, but I'd rather pay for, like, tops from Topshop and
Yeah.
things like that and
Yeah,
nice
quite.
dungarees.
Absolutely.
But, yeah, so I do the cheap ones, so like Tinder. But everybody's on those ones now anyway. Tinder and Bumble. And all that sort of stuff. And then you actually literally just have to knuckle down and swipe.
Knuckle
it's
down,
really
swipe.
hard.
Any available
work.
opportunity.
Just like, you know, when you're half alcohol, swipe. because when you're working, everybody else is out in the bars having fun. So that's really difficult. And by the time you get out at like 10:30, 11 o'clock, everybody's too drunk to talk to anyway. And then you're going out mostly to theatre bars where predominantly most of the clientele is also gay. So, it's hard work to just meet someone out and about.
It's the hours that you can't really get over how different they are. They are literally opposite to normal people.
And
we start at 5 and finish late.
And what's so hard is if you meet someone that's not in the industry, actually dating them in the first place, then it's really hard work. Because I can see you Sunday, or I can see you at 11:30 at night, and that's it. So it's really difficult.
I've often found that sometimes they don't understand.
I found when I was with someone in a long-term relationship who wasn't in the theatre industry, I just started a new musical and we were working every single hour under the sun, like 60, 70 hours a week. And it was incredibly hard. But, I loved every second of it because that's why we are lucky enough to work in an industry that we love. And that's fantastic. And he could not understand why I was working so hard. And that I was like, well, it is overtime. We're getting paid overtime. He was like, well, surely you can say no. I'm like, well, no. Like, you absolutely can't. And found that very difficult to understand why I was out the house. Like, 6-7 days a week.
Sort of touching back on what Steve said, and maybe Sophie, you found this as well. When I was dating people online and therefore meeting people that don't work in the industry, you're kind of treated as a bit of like a novelty. And you probably get it more because you are actually on stage and you are a performer.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of like, God, that's so glamorous, how exciting, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. And then that novelty wears off after about a month because then they go, oh yeah, but I can't ever see you and this is really boring for me.
Yeah.
And then certainly in my experience was that my job was kind of used against me. So I never see you and it's your fault. And I found that I was always the one making the effort. Like, it would never occur to that person that it is kind of reasonable to say, once in a blue moon, come and meet me for a drink at 10:30.
Oh, definitely.
And in their head that was just like so mind blowing. They weren't gonna do that at all. So the novelty aspect was kind of flipped and turned against me, I found, and it just is kind of depressing in a way, really. It just became really hard work.
I've actually never been able to make it work with a muggle, ever.
No.
I've always gone out with actors because I'm really fussy for starters, and also I've got to connect on that level, like having something in common. But also, like you say, I just don't think they get it.
Do you get people, I know you're currently in the show and you're touring around the country and you're playing a really lovely part. Do you get people approaching you because of that?
I always seem to get either teenage girls or single dads following me on social media.
Teenage girls?
It's branched since Wicked days, branched out a little bit more because I have a Rocky Horror audience now because I'm in Rocky Horror at the minute. But quite a lot of single dads following me.
Great.
Yeah.
Hot single dads?
No comment.
Oh. Sure.
But no one ever really. I always think of putting something in my programme saying "is single, find me out."
Because of course
interested.
You two will have a biog, don't you? And I know a lot of people put their Twitter addresses.
Don't do that.
No, don't do that.
Don't do that. I mean, that's too
Yeah,
much.
you wouldn't do that, would you? No.
But it would be fun. You're thinking, God, that's about 1,000 people seeing me every night. At least 2 must be single and fancy me.
Yeah.
At
least.
Crack it on, that's what I'm thinking.
But then there's that thing of what you look like on stage and then what you look like in real life. You are completely. I mean,
like a
girls
right
more
letdown.
so. Like, genuinely, like, depending on, like, I spent 2 years dressed as a pig, so there was going to be.
I'm sorry.
It's like, there was going to be nothing. There was going to be nothing that was going to
I
attract
love what
any
you guys
kind of
go through.
audience.
2 years dressed as a
Pig
pig.
with prosthetic noses and ears coming out of my head, like.
Oh yeah.
I'm
What
not gonna
show was that?
This was Shrek.
Oh, Shrek, of course.
No, that's not going to pull in the ladies, really, unless she's into pigs.
Exactly.
Oh, that pig is so hot.
And it was either a pig or I was on my knees as Farquaad. And it was
Well, on
just-
your knees, that's a different story.
Well, there you go. So you did this blog was it tips? So you had one was get online.
Yeah, get online. Make sure you put up more than 3 pictures.
Okay.
Because I know that I totally disregard anybody that doesn't have more than 3 pictures.
Is this on Tinder?
Wow.
Yeah,
Right.
because I just think pick the best. No, if they've not got more than 3 good pictures, then there's not 3 good pictures out there of them.
I think
I'm really harsh.
Really harsh.
I'm like proper harsh.
Steve had some good Tinder pictures, didn't you? One of you with a dog to
Always
show
with a
off
dog.
different sides of
Oh,
yourself.
but the dog is so predictable.
Oh.
Dogs and babies.
No,
Babies.
I'm like, no,
Honestly.
to get rid of the dogs
See,
and
now,
babies.
I worry. I don't like babies on girls because I'm like, is it theirs?
Yeah.
And not that that's a problem.
No, but you
Not that
know.
that's a problem, but there's something about taking on a girlfriend and then taking on being a dad.
So you're not ready for that baggage yet?
No, I don't
Right.
think so.
I think
Okay.
the whole dog and baby thing, personally, is a bit contrived, but I'm really cynical. I'm like, I know why you're holding that dog. And also, a lot of guys put on their profiles, baby not mine, nephew.
Really?
So all the time. Yeah, I'm not really into that because I can see straight through it. 3 pictures at least, just because you've got to see them in lots of different lights.
Yeah. You like a whole body shot as well, so you can tell that they're not fat.
What's wrong with fat people?
No, there's nothing wrong with fat people. I don't mind fat people. But what I'm saying is, actually, this was thrown at me by a man. Not that he was saying that I was fat,
Yeah.
but he said that he was glad that I'd put a whole body picture on because he'd been stung quite a lot by girls that had just done quite a cheeky
And done a down
shot.
face.
Yeah,
And then when
down
they
shot.
turned up in real life, they were perhaps not quite what they'd expected. Now, right or wrong, that is a thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is
when
a
you're
thing.
presenting yourself only via photographs, then to kind of be misleading, whether on purpose or not, is not great.
And it took me a lot. I used to have I've got lots of rules, but I used to have a ban on me putting any body shots up of myself. And then I got into my 30s and I thought, do you know what? No one's seeing this. I'm going to put it online.
There you go.
I was like,
for you.
sod it. I was like, it's gonna be seen at some point. Get it up there.
So what do you mean by that? Like in a bikini or?
Yeah.
Oh, good
Really?
work.
Because I just think, may as well. I don't care anymore, really. But I used to be really like, mustn't put a picture up of mustn't sell myself in that
Oh,
way.
that's interesting.
See, I would go just below the shoulders. I feel
In
I've
a
got, I
bikini?
feel like in
Right.
a bikini. I feel like I've got good
Cut the
shoulders
love handles out.
and just cut the love handles out.
You haven't got
No
love
nipples.
handles right now, then.
No, I'm working hard at the
You're
minute.
working hard.
Not too many body shots though, because this is the thing, rules again.
No, I
if
like
I
it.
see too many body shots, I'm like poser.
Yeah.
It's such a fine line. Maybe it's just
Which
me.
is on Grindr. You'd be surprised if there's a picture with their clothes on.
But that's an entirely different sort
Isn't
of
it
dating
just? I mean,
site.
I haven't been on there for years and years and years.
We all know why
obviously.
people go to Grindr.
Well, quite.
For the body shots.
Well, actually, the last relationship I was 3 years, and I met him on Grindr.
I've heard a tale or two of these.
They're very few and far between, I think.
I've just got a couple who have just got engaged and they met on Tinder,
Oh, that's
which is
lovely.
really nice.
How long have they been dating?
2 and a bit years, 3 years
Oh,
maybe.
that's cute.
That's
is really nice.
There are these urban myths,
Bless you.
that exist about people that actually make it work. So I think that's why we all keep doing it.
You've got to
my
have the
brother met
aim.
his girlfriend on Tinder actually, and she's delightful. They were both in the right place at the right time. It sort of worked for them.
Mm-hmm.
But I personally wouldn't view Tinder specifically as a kind of the place to meet the one. I feel like it's a bit more hookup, casual, isn't it?
I think it's
really?
become that.
Yeah.
I think when it first started, it wasn't. Because I remember getting on it like straight away.
I've never had a hookup on Tinder.
What do you mean, like sexually or a date?
No, like a hookup, like where
Meeting
you
for
go,
sex.
where you just meet for sex. I've never had
But
that.
you don't believe in sex and
I
first
You
do
don't
dates,
do
right?
that. That's not your thing
You're a
anyway,
classy
No.
individual.
We hope you're enjoying the chat so far. If you want to get in touch with us or share your dating stories, you can follow us on Twitter @SwipeMatchMarry. Now let's get back to the podcast.
Any more tips from your blog?
I was talking about having a wingman.
Oh, yeah.
It's really important. It's only something that I've recently discovered in times of desperation that I need a wingman because I am rubbish at speaking to men. Because if I fancy them, I ignore them. If I don't like them, I ignore them. So it's really difficult for me. So I got myself a wingman. And if I like someone when I'm out and about, I make them go and give them my number.
And when you say wing man, you mean an actual man or a wing woman?
Or either or, you know.
Wing anything.
Yeah, a
wing
wing
person.
thing.
A wing
I
thing.
got myself a wing thing.
Paper aeroplane with your number hurled at them
Oh,
from
that's a
one
good
side of the
idea.
car.
That's a new technique.
What's this? Oh, my number. Oh, great.
But yeah, so have a wing thing. And also really make an effort to go out to places, non-gay places.
I used to go out dancing in gay bars because it was just easier because the gay men don't bat an eyelid. They don't give a
predatory.
shit about you. They're not predatory. They don't care. But then, of course, then you get trapped in this cycle of, well, how do I meet anyone?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm only going to the gay bars, and it's
Exactly.
really tricky, isn't it?
But it's so much
really
fun
difficult.
going to the gay
Exactly,
bars.
it's
We
fun.
are a hoot. I'm not going to lie.
So much
Yeah.
fun. And then sometimes I go to a straight bar, I'm like, right, I'm on the job now. Look,
Yeah.
hunt for boys.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, you know, sometimes you think that because you're
isn't
like,
it?
I'm out now, so this is what I need to do. Sometimes it's a bit of a chore.
That's like a common theme, isn't it? That we are now getting feedback off people. I've got a friend who is listening to the podcast, and we text nearly every week, and she's talking a lot about it. She's dating at the minute, and she's like, it is like having another full-time job. It's really, it's like a chore, and I think guys feel like that as well. It's
Yeah, but sometimes on previous relationships and previous times, there's a sense of it being easy as well. And when you go, oh my God, this is just really easy, then that's a way of knowing that it's working. Do you know what I mean? And I think when it becomes a chore, there's often something that's making it, you know, frictious. Is frictious a word?
fractious.
Fractious.
Fructious.
Isn't doing it online always going to be a chore?
Yes.
Pardon me, because you don't know those people, so there's some aspect of hard work in there.
Yeah, I think that's what it is, because if you meet someone organically, as they say, and you go, oh yeah, like them, want to see them again, that's totally different, whereas you haven't got that initial fridge, or whatever you want to call it,
like
online.
fridge.
So you're like placing your bets, and it's always that kind of, oh, I really hope I like this one because he's funny. You know, it's that kind of, and there's that sense of sort of anticipation about it. And then sometimes you turn up and it does work out, and then sometimes you turn up and they are the most boring human being you've ever met in your life. And you think, oh, I'm never going to get that half an hour back. And that's when it feels like a chore, I think, personally, because and that's that whole face-to-face meeting thing that we just don't do as much anymore, because we are not forward when we go out, because we know that we've got all those apps to back us up.
Yeah.
Like that safety net.
Yeah.
I mean, I've taken on a bit of almost like a mid-year resolution, and I've got rid of all my apps.
All of them?
All of them. I've become... I don't know. It's probably
Even
something-
Christian Mingle?
Even Christian Mingle I've got rid of. No.
Christian Mingle?
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
We've previously talked about niche dating apps, and Christian Mingle is on there, and that's not the weirdest. Actually, what do you think the dating app Mouse Mingle is for?
Little tiny creatures that want to date.
No, it is for Disney fans that want to date other Disney fans.
I know a Disney fan that would
There you
love
go.
that.
Mouse Mingle.
I'm gonna
Mingle
tell
is
her.
for them.
Yeah.
So you deleted all of your apps, Steve.
So I've deleted all my apps, and I've just gone, do you know what? And I think it's this podcast, I think it has genuinely been therapy for me, as much as,
Well, that's lovely.
talking about opinions as well as, and I've become so much more self-confident of who I am that I'm just kind of like, fuck it, like, it's just going to happen. It'll happen when it happens. I don't need to look for it. I don't need to spend my time swiping, trying to go, oh, they look good, and then
Being disappointed.
I just go, right, well, it'll happen organically, like you say, or it will all happen for a reason. Look back at me in 15 years when I'm still in a flat cap
With a dog.
You'll always have a flat cap on.
I'll always have a flat cap on.
I think it is the disappointment that makes it feel like a chore.
Yeah.
I think it's the constant disappointment, because you're like, oh,
But it's
And
a
it's that
roller
thing of-
coaster, because you have this like, oh my God, I've met someone, they're really funny, I'm going to meet them, get yourself up for a date. First dates, no matter who they are with, they are exciting, the anticipation of them and going on them and getting ready for them and then meeting someone. And
I hate them.
do you? See, I quite enjoyed that first date thing.
make me want to vom.
And I certainly dated someone last year who he was addicted to first dates. He never went on second dates ever.
Really?
And
Oh,
he
man.
said that to me. And I just thought, you're stuck in a loop here. You're never gonna break out of this being addicted to first date thing, because it's that what's around the corner, the grass is always greener, and that's exactly what those apps keep you hooked on, is that the next person might be better.
Oh, that's such a shame,
And it's
because
sad, isn't it?
if he met someone he liked, then every single date would be that exciting.
That's
Yeah.
the whole point, isn't it? Exactly.
needs a little
And
bit
you
of
don't
fun.
like first dates? They make you vom?
Yeah.
With nerves or?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What would be your perfect first date to get rid of those nerves?
Oh God, nothing. I just think
A phone
I
call.
just think you're going to be nervous, whatever. because you're putting yourself in front of another human being and going, like me, like that's scary.
But that's interesting that you say that, because aren't you doing that when you go on stage?
Yeah, but that's different,
different.
because I've trained to do
Okay,
that.
right.
You dress as a
And
pig. Like,
That's so
you're not you.
different. I'm comfortable doing that. In
Yes,
fact,
yeah,
I'm
because-
more comfortable doing that than usually walking around as you.
And you're rehearsed, aren't you? You know what you're doing, you know what you're
Yeah.
getting into, and you've done the part.
But
so
even when I do comedy and I haven't necessarily rehearsed everything, I like 1000% trust myself. And I think, oh my God, it's like therapy. I don't trust myself. First dates.
But it's like, I guess you can control what you do on stage, and you can control what you do with your comedy. I know there's a bit of back and forth with the audience, but with the first date, you're not in control.
No.
And I guess that must be where some of the nerves
Yeah,
come
but
from.
oh God, I'm a control freak.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, that's it. I've just nailed it. No, I knew that anyway. Yeah.
So my final question for Sophie is, I feel like you are quite cynical about online dating,
Yeah.
and you don't like going on first dates.
No.
So why are you still doing it?
I'm not really.
You're not? Okay.
No, I kind of like, yeah. Do you know what? I think that I'm so busy and I'm on tour, and that's who wants to meet someone that lives in Sheffield when you live in London. So I'm doing that whole same thing, actually, what you've just said about just trying just to get on with things, and just because I've got a bit cynical about it, just trying to, which is why I got my wing thing, just trying to make it happen face to face
Right.
rather than online.
If you don't look for it, then it will just happen. And I feel having these apps just even in an unused folder, you're still kind of going, oh, it's there if I ever have a weakness moment. Whereas completely getting rid of them and just going, it's
I have a
gonna happen.
theory. I have a theory that all these dating apps are great, and you put yourselves on them, and you get yourself in a position where you sort of go, I'm ready to meet somebody, and then you delete them all.
I completely agree.
Yeah, and then you delete them all, and you go, you know what? I've done that. I've put myself out
Yeah.
there in a way, but that way is not necessarily right. But I'm now in a sort of spirit,
Yeah.
very zen
Mindset.
a mindset. Yeah, that's better. Of ready for someone to come to me or me to come to them organically, without the need for dates. But they're there if I want to get myself back in that mindset. But
Yeah, they're gearing you up. I think that's a good way.
yeah.
That's definitely what's happened for me.
And can I just say, listeners, that Sophie and Steve are lookers, so you want to get involved.
Yeah, for sure.
For
She
sure.
is the eye candy of the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm really not.
So Sophie, what's next for the Happy Performer blog?
Well, actually, we're looking for lots of bloggers and floggers. No flogging here. That's a whole different kind of evening.
Like bargain.
Yes, we're looking for bloggers, vloggers, and podcasters that are performers that want to come on board and create some interesting content that they want to share. They might already have a business or something like that. Come and join the crew, write for us, blog for us, and I want to get a really nice, honest online space for performers where they can look after their positivity and lifestyle.
And if you're not a performer, I imagine it'd be an interesting look into that kind of lifestyle. I suppose.
Yeah, I've enjoyed reading stuff.
Yeah, and seeing
A
how
real
we
insight
live.
into our insecurities.
Oh, quite. And
Well,
what's the website?
that's not going to be my tagline.
No, and the website is thehappyperformer.com.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
Remembered it.
Easy.
We don't have a website yet.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
But you can find us on Podbean, Facebook, literally every social media under the sun, manned 24 hours a day by our team of me and the cats. So because we've got two ladies here for the first time,
Oi, oi.
we are now
That's
equal.
us.
I mean, we're not equal, are we? Because you're a bit of a lady.
Excuse me.
We've got 3 ladies now.
Excuse me. My pashmina is not on today.
It's too hot.
It's far too hot. I watch a lot of reality TV. I like it because I get home from work and it zones me out. But one thing that I've become really aware of is how women are treated on these shows, specifically single women. In 2 programmes recently, Love Island and Big Brother, there has been an incident where a single woman has got involved with a guy, normally a single guy, but there was an incident in Big Brother where this guy had been sort of, he was kind of engaged, but he was an absolute
It's this,
moron.
It's Marco Pierre White's
Marco-
son, isn't it?
yes,
I
exactly.
didn't watch Big Brother, but I read about it in Grazia.
What happened is that, Grazia, hard-hitting news.
Hey, Grazia's one of the best.
It's glossy.
Let's not slag
It
off
is glossy.
Grazia.
It
I
is
like
glossy.
Grazia.
All right, I'll give it a read. Can get some new Pashmina ideas. And these women, Zara in one and Laura in Big Brother, they had a horrible time, and they had sex with a guy or something happened, and the guy would walk off and he'd be absolutely fine. The public would like him, they'd vote to keep him in, or when it was like an eviction night like in Big Brother, there wouldn't be like booze or anything, but the girl, absolutely not. One girl was stripped of her Miss GB title.
Yeah, so I only know
What?
about the look. Yeah, so in Love Island, Miss Great Britain was this girl called Zara, only 20. She's gone into Love Island, and I was always quite surprised that the Miss Great Britain Association, or whatever they're called, kind of allowed that to happen anyway. She's gone on a programme called Love Island that's basically geared up to have people have sex on TV.
Yeah.
And she got in a situation where she'd actually been single on the show for a long time. The whole point of the show is that you're in a couple with somebody. That's how you stay in the show. So she'd hopped around from various men and kind of was feeling quite sort of insecure and down about herself. And the programme producers put in this absolute stud of a guy who basically went in and blatantly said, I'm going to shag as many birds as I can. That's what I'm going on this programme. I'm a ladies' man. I've slept with over 300 women, etc., etc. Put them in a situation where they ended up in the Hideaway, which is a private room with a jacuzzi, with rose petals on the bed, with champagne, and she ended up sleeping with him. And the next morning, she was beside herself, wasn't she? Like she's 20 years old, this girl, and she'd openly said she's Miss Great Britain, and a lot of girls look up to her, and she was like, I don't normally do stuff like this, and I really feel like she got kind of put into a situation where...
But she only had sex.
She only had sex.
She didn't kill a kitten.
Absolutely.
She then gets called into the diary room or whatever it is, and is told that she has been stripped of her Miss Great Britain kind of whatever crown, I don't know what they get.
I mean, that's ludicrous.
And the
sash.
And the guy kind of nothing really happened.
He got in a new relationship
him.
very quickly, and he was. I think they were like runner-up on the show.
Yeah, they
Whereas
were.
she actually had to leave because I think she had a family member that was ill, but she had a horrible time.
She had an absolutely horrible time. The backlash on kind of social media with it in this country, Love Island is in an island off Spain somewhere, was extraordinary, and she was vilified. And at the end of the day, yeah, she just had sex. Had sex.
And the same went for this girl in Big Brother, who sort of was having a lovely time with this guy, even though she'd said from day dot, like, I'm single, are you sure you're single, to this guy? And he was like, oh yeah, no, I've got a hall pass for Big Brother, meaning he can sleep with who he likes. He was in an open relationship. So they were cavorting around, and it was a bit like embarrassing because it was on TV, but you know, they were both, you know, completely 50-50. And she got booed every single time she was nominated. And then when she did actually get evicted near the end, the crowd just were absolutely booing.
But
her
he
like
was
crazy.
the one that was in a relationship.
He was the one that was in a relationship.
Lied, because
He
according
did.
to the Grazia interview that I read with the fiance who was outside the Big Brother house, she'd never said to him once that he was allowed to
absolutely
have a hall
mad
pass.
though. But again, you know, surely the public should see that, and he should be the one in the bed. Why would you boo someone like this Laura girl?
I think we've still got a long way to go
think we have, yeah.
to accepting that women are allowed to have just as much sex as men.
Quite, and this is actually happening so much. It now has its own phrase, which is called slut shaming.
Yes.
Which is a pretty horrible phrase anyway.
It's a weird old phrase, and it's old fashioned. It's medieval.
But I guess a lot of these feelings are coming from people that are old fashioned, thinking that women should be more respectful than that. But why? Why should they?
Why is it
it's
disrespectful
silly.
to have sex? This is
It's
what I don't
not.
understand. It's just it's a thing
young
that
people
humans
enjoying
do.
themselves. Initial attractions, they're fine with who they are, and they might like someone. I mean, the Big Brother was a bit separate because they weren't really being forced to be in that position. Where the Love Island thing, I think the producers have got a lot to answer for
Yeah,
because they
I agree.
really sort of
I
forced them
agree.
into
I think
it.
they focused in on it, and they wanted something like that to happen. They wanted the breaking of, you know, someone who is Miss Great Britain, and you know, so stands for a lot of rules, and but you know, is a representative of a lot of people.
Yeah.
And they wanted to see someone of that stature fall.
That is how
And
it
I think
felt.
that I think that they've set it up,
Yeah,
and
they
they
have.
wanted,
I agree.
you know, someone to go against her values, to
And
go
do you know
against her
what?
views, and to actually fall. And they've used.
Yeah, it's like they broke her. It's like, can we try and break this woman?
But why on earth shouldn't someone who's Miss Great Britain be able to have sex without it not being part of her values? Like, that's the bigger issue here that we need to be talking about.
And
Who says that having sex is about... I don't say having sex on television, that's a different choice altogether. But why shouldn't someone... Why should that be a bad value?
Well, 20 years old, it could be a thing about promoting safe sex.
Yeah.
I'm a beautiful woman. I met a guy. Yeah, fine. We didn't get to know each other that long. We had sex, but we had safe sex. These programs are there to make entertaining TV, and shame on me, I suppose, for watching them, because the producers are trying to make a TV show that I'm going to engage with. And I have to say that I do enjoy watching the drama, like the arguments on Big Brother and things like that. But I definitely, at times... when I was watching what we've just been discussing, I was thinking, no, this is not actually what I want to watch. I don't really want to watch a poor girl feeling like she's done something wrong.
But then again, aren't beauty pageants quite old-fashioned?
Oh, yes.
Oh, of course they are. But then we shouldn't replicate them with modern Western values because they're just so prehistoric, I think.
Maybe that's the issue here, isn't it? To talk like specifically about Zara's slut shaming, is that she has done a really antiquated thing there by going on a beauty pageant and doing all that. There's lots of old-fashioned values related to a beauty pageant, and then shagging someone on TV doesn't really sit very well with those old-fashioned views of what a perfect woman is. So maybe that's the issue there, rather than the slut shaming and the not man shaming.
Yeah.
It's a really complicated issue,
is,
and it's just generally bullshit. Again, it's another thing that does not sit well with modern values.
No, it doesn't. And I'd really like to hear from our listeners about this, actually, because I think this is quite a new subject. So if you've got anything to say, please tweet us at SwipeMatchMarry.
Oh, and for anyone that's interested, there is actually an anti-slut shaming podcast.
Is there?
Called Guys We've Fucked. It is.
Oh, yes!
Can I go on it?
It is American, and it's two girls, and it's kind of very American. I don't really know how else to describe it apart from being very American, but it's funny.
We'll check that out.
Oh.
So thank you, Sophie, very much for being our first ever guest on Swipe Match Marry.
Thank you for having me.
John's
It's been
biscuit.
fun. I'm not off sugar, but thank you.
Sugar. So please check out
Is
The
that a
Happy
euphemism?
Performer. So please check out thehappyperformer.com. And are you at The Happy Performer on Twitter? Or
Yes, at Happy Performer.
At Happy Performer.
_performer.
Lovely. Thanks very much. See you next time.
Bye.
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 Thank you for listening to this episode of Swipe, Match, Marry. We'll be back next week for more relationship hijinks. Until then, please remember to subscribe using the podcast app so you don't miss out on any future episodes.
If you're braving the world of dating, or even if your dating days are behind you, we'd love to hear from you on Twitter. Give us a shout at SwipeMatchMarry.
And as always, we hope that next swipe leads to a match and maybe even a lifetime of happiness.